What up? I'm Josh Paulison, and welcome to Console Log. So I want to talk about some of the weird hoops I had to jump through in order to get text working in the Kinetic Novel Engine, because it's pretty interesting and it's also really bizarre. So I want to start just showing you a sample of what it does. So first a text box appears and then text starts to fill up over time. That might seem like a pretty simple task, but already we have a lot of complications. I'm going to go into the text box element. So you'll see first off it's a form element. That's not really relevant in this case. So it's got all of these different spans for the letters. I'm going to zoom out a little bit just so that you can see how many there are. And you'll see that we have, like, for every single letter there's one, and it has children inside of it. And then you also see that some of them, the spaces, have white space pre-line. So what's this about already? So Firefox works a little bit different than Chrome. In Firefox, if you have... okay, well maybe I should open this up first so that you see what's inside. So in Firefox, it doesn't like when you have absolutely positioned letters in between elements that are statically positioned letters. So in Firefox, if you have absolutely positioned letters in the middle of text, it will not flow correctly. So in this case, what we've got is, here's just a letter, and to show you what I mean when I say absolutely positioned elements in here, so we've got here, we've got the container for the letter, and then we've got VN letter, and this has the position on it, position absolute, and then we have a placeholder, and the placeholder is visibility hidden. When we have this absolutely positioned letter here, and we have a hidden letter, the absolutely positioned letter will move directly over top of it. So in theory, if we remove visibility from all these, you can see that it's a little bit darker because I guess it's not perfectly centered, but it's close and it's not causing any issues. So then we open up this absolutely positioned letter and we have letter animation that actually contains the letter again. Why do we have this? Well, there are different animations that we might want to have on the letter, and you cannot actually animate elements that are not absolutely positioned as far as translate and stuff like that. Why do I want to have translate? Well, because there's some text that is shouted out, and normally if I had this text shouted out, it would end up pushing the other letters aside because it would be taking up physical space because it's absolutely positioned and all of the animating letters are. That doesn't happen. And also for other effects, such as singing. Oh, I kept the rain background from the last video. So we need to have absolutely positioned letters in order to make that work, which, okay, that's kind of annoying. That's why we have it set up. But it gets a little more complicated. As I mentioned, Firefox does not like absolutely positioned elements in the middle of text. So what do we do in that case? I'm going to go back to a simpler state. So he thrusts out his hand. You'll see that there's style white space pre-line. And inside of the space, inside of here, see, where is it? We have inside of the letter placeholder a WBR tag. This is probably a tag that maybe you've never seen it before. It's a word break tag. And so what we do in Firefox is we say, hey Firefox, hey browser, never break into a new line, except where there is a word break tag, except where there is white space pre-line and a word break tag. So what this will allow, and you can see, like, why is it off to the side? I don't know. Some of this gets really bizarre as far as how the positioning looks. But what this allows us to do is have words break at spaces in Firefox, Chrome, etc. Because on Firefox, otherwise it would break at any which letter, and that doesn't look good. Now you might be wondering, well, why not just add the letters one by one? I mean, sure, the text animation might not work, but you can just add the letters one by one. Here's the problem with that, and I'll open up a text editor to give you an example of the problem. So I think that I have word wrap on. Yes, I do. Okay, so this is a sentence. It continues for, so I write F-O-R-E-V-E-R. So see how it falls down to the next line? I don't want that. I don't like it when text does that. I want it to be created down here. And if you'll notice, as I continue on, it doesn't scoot down to the next line once it starts appearing. I take his hand and shake. It immediately starts down there. And I'm gonna, there, it immediately starts down there. And that's true with all of the words. So it flows a little bit better, and rather than your eyes going to the end of a word and then going, whoops, I need to go down here, it ends up flowing a lot nicer. So those are some of the hoops that I had to jump through in order to get letters working cross-browser. And as you can see, even now, it's like, why is it showing the position up there? That's because they're off here. It's an overflow element, so actually that makes sense. But you can see that there's these weird hoops that you have to jump through in order to get kinetic novel text working right in the browser. But it's pretty fascinating and a pretty interesting challenge. In the next video, I'll talk a little bit about the way that I got the text to appear over time, because it's actually not using an interval, and it is also not using a timeout. So I'll show you what I did in the next video.